Hello, garden friend, and welcome to the April garden tour. I garden here in Zone 8A in Georgia, and I would like to show you my garden today. It is still under construction. If you've been here for a while, you know I have been reconfiguring my garden, building out new beds, and I'd like to show you what we've done so far. Welcome to Finding Joy in the Garden. So let's start over here. This is the front of the garden, and last year it looked a little bit different. I did have this arc trellis here, but even the containers here were different. I had some blue containers here, and the flowers I planted were different. And I also built out these beds in the middle of the trellis so I can put in some more flowers. So let me back up so you can see it. All right, so I have some marigolds here. This one is the Kilimanjaro marigold. It's supposed to be a large white marigold, and the flowers do look a little yellow from the packet I saw. And there's another white marigold here, I forget the name. And then going with the theme, this is also a white flower. This is Gomphrena, and this is the white one. I haven't grown this ever. I grew the red one last year, the strawberry fields, and it was beautiful. Some seeds. So I decided to put it here, and my hope is that it would just bloom white here. And also in these containers I have white flowers. So these are African daisy flowers, and it's the white one. I think it's called Blue Disc, and I have it in these 3 containers. This Cosmo, I'm not sure because I planted a lot of Cosmos together. It may be a white one, but it may not. And then I also planted some Thunbergia, which is this plant here, and it's the white flowering one. So if my vision comes to be, this will be a field of white. Now I do have some containers in here. This is probably not where they're going to rest forever, but for now this is where I've kept them. And I have a variety of flowers in these containers. These are from the Dollar Tree. They're $1.25. Let me see, I think I still have the sticker at the bottom. There it is. So this one has some petunias in it, and these are sweet alyssum. These are violas. Let me see, pansies, historic florist mix from Baker Creek, and this one is about to flower. I'm not sure, it looks like a dark color, maybe a purple. In a second I'll show you one that has flowered, and it's gorgeous. Some more petunias. I think this one is a mix, so I'm not sure what color it is, but look, it's starting. I think this might end up being my first petunia to flower. And then I have some nasturtiums. I believe this is the orchid cream nasturtium. In the middle right here, the reason for this entire arc trellis, here are the grapes. These are razzmatazz grapes, and they're already starting to flower. Ooh, there's a wasp here. Sorry, Mr. Wasp. Okay, so it's starting to flower. And I just have it covered in some tulle because we get deer and rabbits around here who like my stuff. Now here I also have some more petunias, alyssum, and here is the viola I was telling you about. Let me see, I think it's the same. This is the antique Laeta viola, and these flowers are so dainty. I've never grown violas, but I am enamored. That is so pretty. I also grew some moss rose. I believe that's what it's called, portulaca moss rose, and this one started to branch out. I have no idea how big this thing gets. The flowers are supposed to be about 2 inches each. None of them have flowered yet, but I have like 2 plants in here, but they're all over my garden now. I have a whole container of them here. Look at these. My goodness, I don't remember the name. I think it's a viola, and I'll put it right here on the screen, but this is why I bought it. Let me get it in the light so you guys can see it, because look at that. Look at that. It's so dark. I love dark flowers. It looks ridiculous to me, like flowers should be yellow or white or red, and when I see something so dark, Oh my goodness. Okay. So this one I have some alyssum and some more of that moss rose. And then in here, I think this one plant here is a phlox, which I've never planted before, and then some alyssum. But this container actually has, I don't know if you can see it, I think the phlox is covering it, but there's a hole in there. There's a bee that lives in this container. I saw a bee flooding around and flitting around and looking at the containers, and I was wondering what it was doing. And then the other day I saw a bee on here. It had just rained and I thought the bee was wet and couldn't get up. So I was trying to like move the container and see if the water would fall off the wings. This bee just disappeared into a hole, and then I was like, oh, wait a minute. The bee has found a home. So I don't know how I'm going to water this. I don't want to bother the bee. And that's why I didn't put any more plants. I was going to stick some more plants in there, but I'm not sticking my finger in there. The bee has claimed it, and it shall be her home. I really hope the audio was good, because I just realized my microphone was off. Anyway, some more moss rose, and then now to the beauty that is this planter. Look at this. Look at the little pollinator. It's so tiny. So tiny. And then there's also a red ant there. That's a fire ant. I don't like fire ants. Every other bug I can handle, but these ants, nah. Anyway, focus. Look, these are Livingston daisies, and I made a video showing these flowers when the first one came up, because I was just so in love with them. And it's one of my, I'll link it in the description box, but it's a combination of the Livingston daisy. There's a pansy right there, and then some sweet alyssum flowers. They're so dainty. I don't think I've seen a smaller flower. And then behind it is some more moss rose that hasn't flowered yet, but this is my favorite part of the garden right now. I just walk by it and smile. It was behind in there, and I moved it out here because I need to look at it. All right, so back to where we started from. I'm going to show you the layout of the garden. A few things have changed. These are the most ancient beds that I have here. These beds were already on the property when we got it, but the wood is really broken down. That one over there, actually, the wood is all gone. So I got these stones that were actually in here. They were half buried in here, and I used that to make the front of the bed. This piece of wood here fell from one of the big trees on the property. And this side, this is a mismatch. This side is, look at that panel there. That's actually flooring, like wood flooring left over that was outside and got some water damage, so it can't be used. So I repurposed it and I used it for this side of the bed. So it's like 3-4 different materials to make this bed, but I didn't want to get some more wood, so I decided to use whatever was on hand. So those are the 4 beds here, and I had to fill them up with soil. These beds were filled with just a clay soil, and they get they get really dry, the soil, and I decided to fill them with some compost. This compost is not the greatest. It looks more like wood chips than compost. It's not properly broken down, so I do believe I'm going to have a struggle growing my plants in it this year. I'm going to have to rely heavily on some fertilizer, but we'll figure it out. It shall be fine. Now, if you know my garden, you would notice there's a big change here. I used to have an L-shaped area here with some shrubs, evergreen shrubs, and I took them down because, one, they're really bulky, and oh, look at the lizard. Let's see. You see? Don't run away. Oh, never mind. That's my old squirrel moment. But I wanted something else here, so what I've done is I am extending my citrus aisle, which starts over here. Let's back up. Citrus aisle is here. All these plants here are citrus except for one. One over here is a loquat tree, but everything else is citrus. So it runs in the front of my porch, and then you have this rose plant here, and I've decided to continue the citrus aisle that way and that way. So that's what we're doing. I have put in 3 trees so far. This one is an Owari Satsuma. I have 2 Owari Satsumas already, so this is my 3rd one. And then here I have 2 lemon trees. This one here is a Myers lemon, and this one is a Harvey lemon. They're both supposed to be a little bit more cold hardy. Not cold hardy enough to be outside, but we are going to experiment. Back here I put some sweet peas. I'm trying to get some sweet pea flowers. I need to finish up the trellis. Almost everything in my garden is half done. And I have space here for 2 more plants, I believe, or 3. And then I put in 2 here. This is the brown Select Satsuma, and that's a Swingle Citrumelo. So I'm still working on this area. As you can see, still looks like a big old construction site, so forgive the mess. Now in this container I still have some more citrus to put in ground. There are some kumquats and others. I just have a lot to do, so I haven't gotten them in. In that bed there I have some flowers in front, because this year I am concentrating on finding joy in this garden. And last year the thing that brought me the most joy were flowers. I had a whole bunch of zinnias in that bed over there, and I would walk past everything and just go stare over there. So now I want to put some flowers in at least every bed, just to make me happy. Okay, the girl wants to be happy. So here's some gomphrena in front, and then this whole patch here, all of here are basil. All of this is basil. I have probably about 5 or 6, more like 7 varieties. I have the large leaf basil, the mammoth basil, the Italian basil, Genovese. I think I may have some Thai basil here. I'm not quite sure. They are labeled, but I have quite a bit of basil, and then some pepper starting here. All of here is tomatoes. This is my tomato tunnel. This first one here, this first arch trellis, is for mostly cherry tomatoes, snacking tomatoes. And then the big boy trellis is behind here. And this one will have more of my larger tomatoes. And I've put in most of my tomatoes. These ones here were winter sown. I forgot to plant some of my favorite tomatoes because I didn't make a list this year. Don't ask me why I didn't make a list. I make a list every year. This year I did not, and so I did not plant not a super sweet 100. I planted it super late, so it's really tiny, and I did not plant any yellow. I needed something like a sun sugar. What's the other one? I forget the name. But I didn't plant any of that. So I got a sun sugar cherry tomato, a black cherry tomato, and a super sweet 100. And then I also, this is mine, a prairie fire tomato. And on this side I have a tomato I've never grown before, which I've had seeds for years but never planted, and I cannot pronounce it. Blonde Korfchen, probably. Blonde Korfchen cherry tomato. Is supposed to be like a whitish or yellowish. We'll see. It's looking really healthy. And of course I planted some basil. This is either the German basil or the spicy glow basil. They kind of look the same to me, so it doesn't matter, but it's a dwarf type basil. Now this bed here, I have some snapdragons in front of the bed and some gomphrena. So you can see a lot of things look yellow. I need to fertilize. Like I said, this soil is not the best. Here is some purple ball basil. It's a small basil, small leaves. And then this pepper here is actually overwintered. This pepper, I'm not sure, because I labeled my overwintered peppers, well, most of them, and then I just lost the labels. I don't know what I'm doing with labels. I just seem to be incapable of labeling anything, but we shall see soon enough. It's already leafing out. I put some peppers here, but I have a lot of slugs and snails in this bed, so they have chomped down on a few of my pepper plants. These ones, like I said, no list, so I forgot some of the things I actually wanted to plant. The sweet banana pepper, so I did buy these. That's a dwarf tomato. I think it's the Rosella purple, I believe is what I planted there. Ugh, more wasps. Ugh. Carry on, sir. Okay. So I have some more peppers. Ooh, my goodness. I'm not here for you. Look at the chives. Aren't those beautiful? That's like a 3-year-old plant. So I still haven't planted anything in here. I have been extra super duper busy getting this garden together. So I have a few spots that need to be filled in. Here are my alyssum plants. This is the gold dust alyssum, and it's finishing up blooming. These are the fresh blooms, and these are spent, so they're making seeds. Once these are all done, I will just chop down the flowers. It only flowers in spring, unfortunately, but it does have leaves. The foliage is still pretty, marking the entrance to the garden in this direction, so that's great. That container is just laying there because I didn't have anywhere to put it, but these are tomatoes that just came up in a little compost bucket, so I'm going to find a place for them. They are most likely cherry tomatoes because most of the tomatoes I had last year were cherry tomatoes. So like I said, I have some big boy tomatoes here and on this side as well. That thing flowering over there is a daikon radish, and I just popped these seed pods off the plant and eat them, so that's why it's still here, because I am eating these pods. Now back here I have some celery from last year and some leeks. Look at this. I have never grown leeks before, so I've never seen it flower, but look at this. This is so pretty. It's so tall. So I'm gonna get some more leek seeds. I was gonna harvest these, but then I decided I probably need some fresh seeds. I did harvest the ones that were in the bed over there. There was a whole line of them over there, and I just took most of them out so I could plant tomatoes. But these ones I think I'm going to leave so I can get some more seeds, and I'll see what they do. I want to see what the life cycle is like. The celery looks good, and this is a walking onion, and it's starting to make bulbs at the tip of the onion. If you don't know about walking onions, I have a video I can link in the description box showing the difference between regular spring onions and walking onions. So here's a view of the garden bed from the other end. Here I have some Burmese rat tail radish. This is going to look just like that. It's a radish that doesn't bulb, it just makes seed pods, which I like to eat. So I put this over it because the rabbits love to eat it. I'm going to put some chicken wire up to cover it before I take this off. I have some cucumbers planted here, and this year I'm not going to cover them. I'm just going to leave them alone. We get a lot of pests with the cucumbers, but it seems like no matter what I do, they get to them anyway, so I'm not going to stress this year. Over here I transplanted some thyme. This is the English thyme, and it's flowering. It's pretty. And there I put some lemongrass. It looks like nothing now, but it's going to get really big and showy, and that's why I put it there in that corner. All right, back to the frontish area of the garden. Here are some green onions from last year, and they're flowering and making seeds now, and these heads are just so pretty to me. I have some bitter melon, and I have in those 3 containers. I have 3 different types. This one hasn't come up yet, but I found a volunteer plant and I stuck it in the container just in case nothing comes out here. But I have 3 different varieties I've planted. These, my goodness. So look, I need you to enjoy the beauty that is these snapdragons. I don't know if this camera can do it justice. My goodness. These I planted last year, and this one flowered last year, but it was one puny. It was like maybe 1 stem like this, and that's all it did. It overwintered beautifully. I wasn't expecting it to, and this show is worth the wait. This is so beautiful. I would say they're the most beautiful snapdragons I've ever grown, but they are the only snapdragons I've ever grown. But for a first time, you did it, girl. She got me in love with snapdragons, and now I've bought so many different packs because I just want to plant all of them. All right, back here I have some more peppers. My eggplants have been decimated by flea beetles. The leaves are barely there. They are just, look at them. They just look like riddled with holes. So bad. Back there I have a sweet potato that I'm making slips off of, and some more daikon radishes. Now that's the same snapdragon over there and here. So this one will bloom pretty soon. That's how it looks before it opens up, and this one's starting to open up. Some more eggplants that's also been really chomped down. I put some zinnias here. I really want zinnias everywhere, so I have some zinnias here, a row of tomatoes, and then some mammoth basil in the back there. And all of this other space I need to fill in. Here is a look at the walking onion, and you can see how it grows. This here is going to open up to this. These are the little bulbules that you can, when it actually grows a little bigger than this, you can take these and plant a whole new batch of walking onions, or you can just leave it on the plant. This will get heavy and fall to the ground, and wherever it falls, then it'll start to put down roots. That's how, because I only planted this one plant here, and the way it multiplies is this one actually split. So it was only one plant. Now there are 1, 2, 3, 4 plants here. So it keeps splitting, but also it makes these bulbules that fall over. So it made, the first one fell over there and made this baby plant here, which is also making a baby. So it can literally walk around your garden and take over. Back here I have some more green onions that are flowering. These are from last year. And this enclosure here is for my okra, and I've actually put some okra in. I have some that are still in containers. I'm waiting for them to get a little bit bigger before I put them in here, so the snails don't get to it. But there you go. Now the new area of the garden, I just put all of this in this year. I have 4 raised beds. These are metal raised beds. I have a video showing how I filled these with soil if you are interested. And so I have these 4. They're identical in size, and I put up this trellis here, cattle panel trellis on that one, and I was gonna put one here, but I just felt like it would be too much. So I left these ones as is, and I put these ladder mesh instead over here. And I have to decide what I want to plant on these. Maybe some cucumbers, we'll see. But I put one on either one. And in these ones I've planted some flowers, some more of those Livingston daisies. They come in so many beautiful colors. Look at that orange, and then the pink. Is that so pretty? And then I filled it in with some moss rose. This is a Dollar Tree stacking container. I have 2 containers stacked, and this is actually also from the Dollar Tree, a shepherd's hook, and I just put that in the middle of there. So I also have some old pepper plants in here. These are overwintered pepper plants, and I will put a video up soon showing my overwintered peppers. But these 2 that are tall, they're overwintered peppers, as well as these 2 in this bed. I have some more zinnias planted here, a purple coneflower, some green onions, and then some calendula. Let's look at the little flower. So say hi to the shadow. Hey, shadow. All right, here's a calendula. This one is flowering, and this one is still trying to do something. I have some thyme here as well as there. That's a lemon thyme, and it's grown from a cutting from my other thyme plant. All right, let's move on back. These 2 beds have tomatoes, peppers, and flowers. I have some nasturtiums. Here I planted some, oh, I need to water you guys. You look sad and dry. Yeah, you need water. I'll give you some of this water from the slips. You look sad. Anywho, these are regrown celery plants. They look tired. And I'm actually making some sweet potato slips in this cup here. Let me show you. I made a video showing when I planted these food scraps, and here it's been a week or two and they have some roots. All right, the green stalk I haven't filled up yet because, as you can see, I've had so much work to do. Those are some grapes. They are muscadine grapes, female, male, and then I have some Kajari melons planted here. Ooh, one is waking up. Hello. So I planted Kajari melons here and there, and I also have some peas in that one. Now this is Pepper Isle. Welcome to Pepper Isle. And it looks like the front aisle, the front of it looks like it's been here a while because it has been here a while. They're mostly overwintered peppers. So these are the ones I took in my garage. And you can see this one I think is a Puma pepper with the purple leaves. Oh, this one has aphids, loads of aphids. Let me show you. Ugh, I need to come hose these off, but I have this row here, mostly overwintered peppers, and I brought in some flowers this year. So this is the Kelway Golden Chamomile, and I have some zinnias in here, and then more peppers. And then this one is, I'm not sure, but it looks like a Shasta daisy. We shall see when it blooms. And in the back I have the baby peppers we just got here, grown from seed. These were winter sown, and I just put them in like a week ago, so they're getting acclimatized. I have about 2 peppers in each container, some of them just one, and this one here, of course, this is definitely overwintered. This is the Sugar Rush stripy pepper, and it's 2 pepper plants in this container. Now back here I have just a mismatch of things. Here are the potatoes that I planted in that video where I was showing how to grow food scraps. These potatoes came up by themselves because I didn't harvest the potatoes I grew in this container last year, and some more that I just recently planted. These 2 here. Here's my fig tree. That's the Chicago hardy fig. Have some blueberries back there and raspberries. So this is the berry aisle. These are raspberries and these are blueberries, and I'm surprised they're still here because the deer like to come here and eat them. And then some blueberries. This plant is loaded with blueberries. I've never once fertilized this plant, and she's been so kind to me. So I have 1 blueberry plant here and another back there. This one is not as productive, but still some blueberries for me and for the birds. Now, like I said, I'm still working. I need to clear this area out because I want to plant some corn here. These are just my trees. I have probably about 12 trees back here, pomegranates, plums, random citrus, cold hardy citrus that doesn't need to be covered and is full of thorns, and some elderberry. Ooh, I didn't know she started to flower. Okay, I love elderberry flowers. They're so pretty. They look like a snowflake. They're so pretty. All right, so this is the view from this end here. You can see the trees here, and then the beds here. We're gonna ignore all of this happening here. I'm trying to kill some invasive plants that are in that circle, so I have it covered in some black plastic. Let's go look at flowers, shall we? So here are my poppies. These are California poppies that overwintered from last year. I also grew some lemongrass here and there. I'm going to move one of the containers. Some lavender grown from seed. And then These are my citrus. Here's the Bloom Sweet grapefruit. Behind citrus aisle, I have mostly flowers. So those are some celosia flowers and some alyssum, some white cone flowers that I grew from seed, some more white cone flowers, and a celosia plant. This is the brown, no, this is a wari satsuma, and a poppy. I've been waiting for this poppy to open up. This is a black, it's supposed to be a black poppy. It looks more purple to me, but we shall see when it opens up. It's dark, at least it's dark. Behind there I have some, why can't I remember the names? I'm gonna put the name right here. Don't remember what it's called, but the brown select satsuma. And then back there I have, it looks like marigolds, but I'm not sure that's what I planted there. But behind there I put some sunflowers. This is a Nippon orange quartz, and this might be my first citrus for the year. It's starting to ripen. It has 2 ripening fruit, and that is just wonderful to my ears and my eyes. This is a new citrus I just got, and I got it just because it's variegated. Do I need any other reason? This is the pink lemonade. That is my Meyer lemon. I grew 2 lemons off of this plant. 3 lemons off of this plant last year. Some cucumbers behind there, and some more celosia. And this one is definitely cold hardy. This is the Kimbro Satsuma. Barely got covered last year. All the leaves fell off, and she's bounced right back. She already flowered, and I believe she's held on to some fruit, so we shall see. Back there is evidence of all the work I've done. I had 4 cubic yards of compost delivered, and that's what's left. And I don't have a wheelbarrow, so I moved everything with that contraption there. So I've been working hard. My strawberries, which I have not fertilized or done anything to, have still managed to make me some fruit. Aren't they so kind? But what I brought you back here for, this. Look at my flowers. Like I said, I am absolutely in love with these. I think I have some footage from earlier in the day when it was a little brighter, and I'll show you right here. These flowers are so pretty. This here is yarrow. This one hasn't opened up yet, but I can't wait for it to open up. It seems to love my garden. It's a big bunch of it here, and everywhere I put this Black Prince Snapdragon, it's just showing off. Right here, that's the regular yarrow, and it's doing so well. My hope is the rabbits don't remember this yarrow, because last year they just seemed to enjoy it so much they didn't let me have any of it. Now this is a pine tree that I pulled up from the yard somewhere where it was growing. I just stuck it in this container with just native soil. It's just clay soil. I put some alyssum here. I don't know, it's so pretty to me. Isn't that pretty? Isn't that pretty? Why are you on the floor? There you go. All right. Yes. Beautiful. And back there is the part of the garden I'm still working on. A little seating area. And haven't finished. I'll let you see it when I'm done. Still has a lot of construction mess, but this is how far I've gone. I just wanted somewhere to sit and enjoy all this hard work. I know it's hard to imagine all of this when it grows up fully, so if you want to see a video of my garden last year in July when it was at its peak, click on this video. Or click on this video if you would like to see how I filled up these garden beds. Like the video if you like the video. And until next time, may you always find joy in your garden and your life. Bye, garden friend.